Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's event. I'm Laura Dillon from MS Dynamics World, and we're here today for a session all about how to automate training content for Dynamics 365 upgrades. Our presenters today are Christina Lang, Christine Eltz, and Danny Garcia with ClickLearn, and it's my pleasure to welcome them here with us today. Now, as we get started, please know that we do welcome your questions. You can feel free to type those in at any time during the presentation and demo in the little chat box that you'll see in your GoToWebinar dashboard, and someone from the ClickLearn team will follow up with you directly after the session. So without any further delay, Danny, I'm going to hand things off to you to get us started.
Great. Thank you so much, Laura. Really appreciate it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this ClickLearn webinar. Today, we're going to be focused on how you can automate training content for whenever you're dealing with these Dynamics upgrades. And I'm super excited to have with me in this webinar two colleagues that bring a wealth of knowledge. Christine has a lot of knowledge as it relates to the micro aspect of generating content and managing user adoption for these upgrades. And then Christina brings a lot of knowledge with user cases, right? She's interacted with many different customers that have been in the same position that you've been or that you are as it relates to managing migration to the cloud. And so she's going to be able to speak to some of their experiences and challenges and how they overcame those challenges as it relates to upgrades. So with that, I think we can get started. Let's take a look at the agenda, what we have for today. So let's do some quick introductions. Myself, Danny Garcia, Partner Channel Manager here at ClickLearn. My mission at ClickLearn basically is to help organizations succeed with their implementations. That's my reason for existing. I'm going to let the ladies introduce themselves.
Well, I'm Christina Lang. I'm the editor-in-chief at ClickLearn. And as Danny said, I've been in charge of quite a few case stories and various other webinars and things. So I have a bit of knowledge about some of the issues that customers typically face.
And hello, my name is Christine Eltz, and I'm the Customer Success Manager here with ClickLearn. And my job, like Danny had said, is to help you be successful in using ClickLearn to your best possible advantage.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. So let's go through the agenda. This is what we're going to do. Look, if you're watching this webinar, it's because either you are in the middle of a migration to the cloud, right? You're doing some upgrades or you're thinking about it. And so certainly with that comes a lot of difficulties, right? It's not necessarily easy. And if you haven't done an upgrade in a while, there's quite frankly a lot of work that gets piled up, a lot of data that has to be migrated, a lot of pain. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about some of the common challenges and obstacles to upgrading, but then of course the benefits, the real benefits that come with that, and how can ClickLearn at least can alleviate some of those challenges as it relates to what we feel is one of the most important component of migration, of digital transformation, and that is the end user training. Because at the end of the day, transformation cannot happen unless the users know how to best utilize the great system that you just provided to them, right? And then we're going to wrap it up with a demo where Christine is going to show you a real life example of what is possible with ClickLearn. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Christina, and she's going to walk us through the first 3 bullet points on the agenda.
Thank you, Danny. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about some of the obstacles, some of the challenges that a lot of companies face when they are considering an upgrade. Let's face it, people really don't like change. A lot of people find the whole new interface very daunting. So with companies, they have to bear in mind that they have maybe a lot of key personnel who feel comfortable with the products that they have and the processes, and they don't necessarily want to change over to a new system. A lot of the reasons for that is that there is a certain loss of productivity that people expect, especially the expert users. They'll find the whole thing with they've got their shortcuts and their keystrokes, and they know exactly how to do their processes. And with a lot of heavy data, they might have a lot of tasks that they repeat every day, several times a day, and any loss of productivity is going to demotivate them. There is also a lot of, there's a perception that you would need to change processes with a new upgrade. So although this isn't necessarily accurate, there is this idea that if you've got your processes in place and you upgrade, you're going to have to change your processes. A lot of organizations might also have modifications to their existing systems, and these can be a challenge to migrate. And then, of course, how big is your existing system? How large is your database? How much content and how much data do you have? And how old is your system? And all of these can really mean that having an upgrade is going to be a large project. Yes, so next, please. Okay, so if we're going to talk about why upgrade, there are certain, of course, obvious benefits with having the newest system. In terms of core businesses, with the new system, you also get the possibility, the opportunity to focus on your core business rather than having all these non-core businesses that you have to deal with. The new architecture is all about creating a situation where every upgrade update is not an engine change, but just an oil change. So it's supposed to be manageable, and the way that it becomes more manageable is that you have more regular, smaller updates. And that, of course, is maybe a bit of an inconvenience, but the benefit is that, of course, you save a lot of money by taking regular monthly updates rather than waiting every 5 to 10 years to upgrade, and then you have to spend maybe $250,000 on an upgrade rather than $25,000 by taking it in smaller increments. So there's a lot of money that you can save by actually keeping your system updated to the newest system. And then, of course, there's the obvious reason to upgrade, and that is that the longer you wait, the more obsolete your system becomes. And if we're talking about a really old, for example, NAV system, it's not even going to be supported by Microsoft anymore. And of course, that's going to mean no upgrades and less security. So many businesses actually, it's not an option. They're going to have to upgrade at some point or other. And pushing this big boulder ahead of them is not necessarily going to be a benefit in the long run. So next slide, please. Okay, so that brings us to why ClickLearn. So we know that there are obstacles to upgrading. We know that there are benefits of upgrading. Well, the whole thing with ClickLearn is that you can actually use ClickLearn as a way of making the process easier and actually a lot less of a challenge. ClickLearn has, so by recording your existing processes, you can have the whole sort of baseline instructions almost as a sort of a communication tool to your project management staff or team. So you record your existing processes and you can create videos and documentation out of those, and they can form the basis of your project requirement specification for the new system. This is also a communication tool that you can use to your key stakeholders. So by recording and using one of the many formats, we have the PowerPoint presentation format. That means that it's a great communication tool, and that you can tell your super users exactly what's going to happen in the new system. So it's also becoming not just a communication tool, but also can form the basis of your new training material. And then, of course, by training as you go along, so as you're developing the system, the new upgraded system, then you can train the key stakeholders, and you don't have to wait till the end until you've got actually, done the migration. You can do that along the way and take it in bite sizes, and then you are already ready to roll out and have your key personnel hit the ground running, and also hopefully train their colleagues in the new system. So you're sort of it increases the whole sort of fluency of your migration project by using training and working it into your system. And then finally, this idea of having an oil change rather than an engine change. Well, in ClickLearn, you have this automated replay feature, which means that every time, once you have migrated onto the newest system, then it's very easy to migrate to a new update or to update your system. And with all these, with Microsoft sending out these regular updates, then you have that great advantage that it's very, very easy. You just click a button and you've got your updated material, which is what Christina is going to show now.
Thank you so much. I love all of the analogies, Christina. It's really helpful to give a good visual idea of we're not reinventing the entire wheel. It really is just an oil change. It's a little piece, but it's going to make things so much easier and convenient for those of you that are trainers and have materials that you need to create or update from existing applications to new solutions that are always being developed. What I want to take a moment and show you is I have a couple of projects here in my ClickLearn application. And in ClickLearn, you will be able to use ClickLearn to create your recordings, your processes. And the really neat thing about that is on your existing system, if you have a process that you'd like to be able to create and use that to upgrade into your next D365 product. So for our example today, I'm going to show or pick on, if you will, moving from a nav environment to a Business Central environment. This particular example that I've just opened up to show you is, as Danny and Christina had alluded to, is ClickLearn creates the recording. And once you use the recorded steps, and that comes from your process, then ClickLearn goes ahead and creates all of these learning materials. So we have the web page, we have 3 videos, we have a Word, a PDF, and a PowerPoint. So you can see the steps that have been created. And again, this one is using a nav step. So very simply, you can see the different screen captures within a nav environment. So if you want to simply go in and to edit, selecting various text boxes to complete that process. And from here, once you've created that, and then you're going to want to use this recording to move up into your next D365 upgrade. And from here, you can see a couple of different examples that Peter has also created. We have an upgrade feature. So the upgrade is taking that existing nav, and now we're going to use it to follow those same steps in your Business Central environment. So it's letting me know here, what do I want to make that upgrade to? And you can see we have a variety of choices to be able to select from, especially down here with the Business Central and the waves, the releases that we have. So you can select whatever that type is that you want to make that upgrade to. And then you also have a choice whether you want to replace whatever the former versions are or keep both versions. That way, if you do need to roll back, if you need to have a look back to that existing recording that you've had, as well as being able to keep that example for the recordings for that new style, you can see them both side by side. And then when you make that upgrade, you take this recording and you will go ahead and use it against your Business Central application. And what I've done here, we're going to take a look at a moment and see, using those steps, ClickLearn takes the recording and it will now create your upgraded version in your Business Central. So let me show you what that recording will look like. So when I open this particular recording, you're going to be able to see again at a glance all of the steps that have been created. And because ClickLearn creates that one recording, and I now also have the ability to look at all of these, and let me open this one up in a Word format. So the best thing about this is using that one recording, ClickLearn's templating process takes care of all of those other learning style types. So the oil change is now complete, if you will. We didn't have to take the tires off and pull the engine out and completely make a new body. All we were able to do is to take the recording that we already had created, use the upgrade feature, run it against our Business Central, and now Business Central has found those same steps. So now here's my customer. Here I'm able to click on that link in any cell or any row. And instead of having to select editing, because Business Central opens up in an automated process, that step can be totally eliminated. So I just go through the rest of my steps, completing whatever those items are. And then instead of selecting OK to complete, I just simply select saved. So anything that you see here in the bolded text, this is ClickLearn looking at those particular steps and the data element. So it's not just a screen capture that it's been looking at, but ClickLearn using the connector, doing the overlay or the upgrade into a new system. It's actually created the templating for me to be able to click on whatever that navigation menu is or a cell number, and that bolded text is ClickLearn's way of looking into your new updated system and seeing, hey, I now recognize this is where the customer's field is in Business Central. Here's where the cell is that I want to select for any row for any of the businesses that I want to update. And then it opens up, and once you're inside, again, it recognizes all of these fields. So it's just saved you a lot of time because you're able to use the existing materials that you've created to do your upgrade into your new system. And it's also created all of these different learning styles. So from that one recording of your initial navigation or nav or Navision or whatever, if this works for your CRCE upgrades, this works for your nav, this works for your AX to your F&O. Here is just one example of the different ways that ClickLearn, using that upgrade feature, can take all of your existing recordings, create recordings, and then use them for your upgrade and create all of these different methods, these learning formats. So comparing them, to just take a moment here, let me just open up on my desktop. Hold on just a moment. So you can see, to get that visual, the difference. Here is what the original Edit a Customer recording was like. And again, you can see it's in the nav. It's got those same steps where I'm able to click on the customer, click on the cell on any given row. Here we have to click on the ribbon to perform the edit. This is the step that ClickLearn, as it went through the upgrade into your Business Central system, it was able to eliminate that one because in your Business Central, it opens up in a direct edit process. And the rest of the steps are all the same. ClickLearn was able to find them in your Business Central, and instead of clicking on an OK button to close that edit screen, we simply selected Save. So big time saver for both of them. And we still have our existing system. So the really neat thing about this is, even though we've made that upgrade, when you have that choice, that flexibility to be able to select which version do you want to keep, you can choose to keep all of them. So that way you'll have that side by side. You won't lose any of your existing recording or documentation. You'll have the new recording, and you'll be happy in both worlds, because the old oil is still available if you need it, but then that new oil change, it gives your end users that chance to just jump right into the car and take off through all of the learning processes, whatever is most helpful for them. So we, again, with our Word, our PDF, our PowerPoint, everything is captured. In the PowerPoint in particular, you can see that the steps have been captured in a full screen format. So if I want to be comfortable to see where these new steps are located, I can just go ahead right through my steps and see at a full page glance, and I'll always have those written instructions below. So you'll never be confused about where you need to go in a new system. You'll be guided by just that one recording where you've created all these materials. And if you want to have further to just sit back, relax, and really focus on what is the learning style best for you, you always have the show me, the try me, and the test me videos as well. So if you want to start a show me video, it will go ahead and just guide you step by step through the process, and you don't even have to do anything more than just pay attention to what you're going to see. So you'll be guided step by step through all of those the informational pieces. You'll always have the text, and here again is the guided instruction in your new system. So I'm really excited to be able to share all of this information about being able to upgrade your material, make it as painless as possible. And if there are any questions at all, or Danny or Christina, let me know. What do you think about what you've just seen today?
Yeah, this is Danny here, Christine, while you get set up for the next stage. But I noticed that the video, at least for myself, didn't play a sound, but for whoever is looking at the webinar, the video does have digital narration, the voices. I don't know
Yes,
if it was my setup or if it was on your end.
Uh, it,
Um,
it it was probably on my end because we didn't capture the audio from my laptop where I'm doing the demonstration from. But yes, absolutely, great point, Danny. The show me, the try me, the test me videos all have an audio component to it. And if you've done any globalization to any of your documentation as well, that will also be reflected in whatever the different language, the multi-language that you may have selected.
yeah, and it's huge, right? I mean, the thing is that we're we're in a state of transition, the whole world, right? Like we keep adding new systems, we keep upgrading. We have to, because we need to stay competitive in whatever industry you're in. And the old way of just doing content by handwriting, right? So using the Word document and snag it and typing in instructions and using another system to record your screen and writing a script and recording your voice and then trying to piece it all together. And then how do you update all that manually created documentation when the system, your dynamics upgrades? It is a daunting task that basically it never gets done because it's too complex, it's too time consuming, and it's too expensive. And so by having ClickLearn generate all of this content for you, including the digital narration of the videos, that all of that goes away. So it's a very simple way to manage a continuously high quality level of documentation and training for your end users as you continue moving to the cloud and continue managing your upgrades.
Exactly. And just keep in mind, as you do build your body of work and as you start creating materials for different functional areas, that process of the upgrade exists for every individual recording that you will be creating. So you'll be able to use this functionality to update all of the materials as you go along. So it's again, like Danny said, it's a great time saver because you're going to just make changes to one recording and all of those updates will be pushed out to every one of those different learning formats for every one of the recorded materials, the processes that you have created.
I have a question, or rather, I was thinking a little bit about existing content. What about being able to edit if you have a lot of existing documentation and you want to include that in your new migrated content?
Yes, exactly. I have, just to show you one example further, let's just jump over real quick and take a look at an existing learning portal that has been created that has a lot of content. So if I want to be able to make that update, let's take a look here in this customer engagement knowledge base. We do have a very well built out, and this is something that's already been delivered to your end users. So within your application, you'll be able to have all of your end users looking at the materials, and you can create them. You already have them created. And again, just for a preview to give you a fuller understanding for what your end users are looking at. So the materials that you have had in place, you'll be able to take all of those. So every one of these icons represents a variety of recordings that have been placed there. And so for every one of them, oh, let's get to one where it does, there we go. So for all of these different recordings, just imagine the time that would be sent with having to go in for every one of them and make an update from your existing system into the new one that you'll be migrating into. Keeping in mind that here, again, you have that same ability. It's just simply going to be a matter of highlighting that particular recording using the upgrade feature to determine. So if I wanted to be able to upgrade my recording, everything that I've already got created, I'll be able to come in here and use my my edit feature to make those updates. Danny, let me
Yes,
hand it back over to
great.
you.
Thank you, Christine, so much, and thank you, Christina. I think there was a lot of material that we reviewed. I think what's important here is just as a takeaway, um, this is intended to allow you to manage easily the upgrades and your migrations. And we do this because ClickLearn, as you saw, it's a click application. That means that anybody is able to create content, right? Any of your super users can participate in the process of generating training materials. You do not need an IT project. There is no complexity. To produce and publish, all you need is a proper working index finger to click on the mouse. It's that simple, right? And so that's the whole concept here, is to eliminate complexity, to eliminate the challenges, at least as it relates to documentation, and then helping the end users adopt the new solution. And so if what you saw today here resonates with what you're going through in your organization, please reach out to us. You can go to clicklearn.com. We have a very intuitive a web calculator where you can see the subscription. It's flexible. So whether it's a small project or a major global project, we can support that. The community.clicklearn.com. This is a forum where all of the authors around the world are sharing best practices on how, what their take is of using ClickLearn for their own systems in their own organizations. And so we have this community where you can share best ideas with other authors. And certainly you can see our emails and our signature there. You're more than welcome to also reach out directly to us. We'd be more than happy to discuss your user case and to understand what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then just share some other user cases that are similar to what you are going through and help you in the journey of understanding ClickLearn and experiencing it for yourself, right? We do offer a 2-week free trial license where you can have it in your own environment and play with it. We give you the keys to the kingdom and we show you how to have a successful POC so that you can make an assessment and derive value for yourself in your own user case. We are eager to go through your questions and certainly provide answers as well. I think that is it for me, for myself. We thank you for participating. We hope to hear from you and hope to engage with you in the near future. To both of Christina and Christina, thank you so much for participating. We certainly
Thank you.
appreciate you as well.
My pleasure, Danny. Thank you so much.